If questions like this one are dragging down your SAT math score, you are in the right spot. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how to deal with radicals and exponents on the SAT. And just FYI, this is a sneak preview of my math course. Go ahead and check out the description if you want to see more. All right, let's talk exponents and radicals, which are primarily showing up in equivalent expressions. So we will just talk about them in terms of equivalent expressions. On the left here, we have rules, and you should absolutely have all of these rules memorized. There's, like most of the time, going to be a Desmos route to a lot of these answers, but you're going to save a lot of time and suffering if you just know the rules. I'm not going to give examples for these because we're going to see examples of these in the questions, but let's just briefly discuss what they mean. The product rule is basically saying, if you have the same base and you multiply exponents with the same base, those exponents will be added together. So they get multiplied. That means the exponents get added together. So x to the third times x to the fourth would be x to the 3 plus 4 or x to the 7. The opposite of that would be dividing. If multiplying means we add them together, then dividing means we subtract them. So x to the 9th over x to the 3rd would be x to the 6th because 9 minus 3 equals 6. The power rule, if we are raising an exponent to an exponent, this is when they do get multiplied. You can kind of think of it as the exponents are behaving in a dimension like one removed from what's going on with the bases. So here the bases are being multiplied, they get added. Here, the bases are being, exponented or raised to something, and they get multiplied. So x to the 3 to the 4 would be the same as x to the 3 times 4, or x to the 12. So that's the power rule. And then importantly, when we're distributing powers, we are allowed to say that if we have two values being multiplied, we can distribute our power to both of those values. So most often what you're going to have is you're going to have some sort of x or some sort of letter, and then you're going to have just a straight up number. So we could distribute this 3 to the 2. 2 to the 3rd would be 8. Distribute that 3 to the x, and then it would just be x to the 3rd, right? So 2x raised to the 3rd would be 8x to the 3rd because we want to distribute that 3 to the 2 as well. That's distributing powers. Zero exponent rule, anything to the 0th power equals 1. That's it. Negative exponent rule, a negative exponent is the same as 1 divided by a positive version of that exponent. So if we had x to the negative 2, it'd be the same as 1 divided by x to the 2, or 1 divided by x squared. The fractional exponents rule is a way of converting this radical version into a base with an exponent that's in the form of a fraction, right? And you can see that here, the rule is our numerator is going to stay with the base and our denominator is going to go into the root here. Another way to remember this, or actually, sorry, I said I wasn't going to do examples, but this one has a nice little illustration to go with it, so I'll give it to you. Let's say if we have x to the a over b, and we have a beautiful flower with roots down here. There's my beautiful flower. When we convert this, I know it's not a very pretty flower, but when we convert this, the flower is the power. So the flower, a, is the power, and the root, b, is the root. So denominator goes in the root, numerator stays with the base as its power under the root. That's the rule for fractional exponents. And then finally, for simplifying radicals, just keep in mind that the square root of something is allowed to be turned into the square root of 2 of its factors multiplied by each other. And when you do this, you're trying to find factors that have perfect squares. So if we said this is the same as the square root of 25 times 2, now we can pull the square root of 25 out, which is 5. And then inside, we would only have this 2 remaining. So that's more or less how you simplify radicals. This is something we'll go over more on a question by question basis because it's very rare that you're going to come across a need to do this. but definitely good to know. Not something I'm doing a full lesson on in this course, at least not yet. But if you feel there's a need for that, go ahead and let me know in the FAQ. Anyway, with that, let's get into the practice. Go ahead and pause the video and try these 2 questions on your own first. But here we go. This first one, it's all about multiplication, baby. So let's try and find, well, I'm already seeing that there's all different a values. So let's just shortcut this. A squared times a to the third is going to be a to the 5th, because remember, we want to add 2 and 3. The only one with a to the 5th is choice B, so we don't have to look at the rest of these, and choice B is our answer. Bottom right, we can clearly see that we're dealing with the fractional exponents rule. So remember, the root, 8, is the root. The flower is the power, x to the third. That's going to be choice B as well, so choice B is the answer for this one as well. Pause the video and try these on your own first. But here we go. So if we're dividing, we want to go ahead and use our quotient rule. But importantly, we also want to probably simplify the top so that we have similar looking base. So basically, we could use the fractional exponents rule first. The square root of all this stuff in the top is going to be the same as all of this stuff to the 1 over 2, right? Because we could think of all of this stuff to the 1, and then there's an invisible 2 here. So if we have 25, x to the 6th, y to the 10th, all to the 1 over 2, now we can use our distributing powers rule, distribute that 1/2 to 10. And remember, if we raise to a power, we multiply. So that's going to turn to 5. So basically, we have y to the 5th. X to the 6th becomes x to the 3rd. Again, we're dividing by 2. And then here, since this is an actual number, we're raising it to the 1/2. So we actually do want the square root, which is 5. So basically, it's all of that stuff divided by x to the 4th, which means we subtract. So 3 minus 4 is -1, so we have 5 to the x to the -1. 5 minus 4 is 1, y to the 1st, or just y by itself. And it looks like that's going to line up with nothing. Oh, sorry, y to the 5th would still be y to the 5th because it's not a similar base with x. It's its own thing. So choice A is going to be our answer for that one. Bottom right corner, it's really just all about distributing. So 3 to the 3rd is 27, so B and C are out. X to the 4th to the 3rd would be 4 times 3 is 12, so it's choice A. I don't have to look at the rest. Just a quick reminder, this is actually just 1 out of 4 equivalent expressions lessons from my math course. Use the link in the description if you want to get full access. Finally, I know, we're already there. Go ahead and take a look at this page, pause the video, try these on your own first, get yourself a little bit of a challenge, but here we go. All right, first one here, classic fractional exponents. Remember, the root is the root and the flower is the power. So we should have 14 c to the 9th. Uh-oh, what the heck is going on? Why don't our answers match? So let's do some critical thinking here. What could possibly be happening with these crazy big numbers that would lead to an answer that actually works? Well, if you remember from our fractions rule, we are allowed to multiply any fraction by 1 over 1. So I'm seeing some big numbers here. Let's just test 126. What times 9 would be 126, if anything? Let me grab Papa Desmos here. What's 126 divided by 9? 14. Okay, so if 9 were multiplied by 14, it would be 126. And then what about 14 times 14? That would be 196. So if we multiply the top and bottom by 14, then our 9 becomes 126. I'll do this in the one that I wrote out here. And then 14 times 14 is 196. So that one requires a little bit of critical thinking, but you can see that it lines up with choice D, right? All right, bottom left corner. This one looks kind of hideous, but there's a pattern. And if we notice what's going on with the pattern, we should be able to see that there's basically a whole bunch of eliminating that happens. Because as we start to FOIL, we're going to get 1 times t, which is t. We're also going to get 1 times negative t, which is negative t, which will cancel out. After that, we're going to get 1 times t squared, which is t squared. And we're going to get t squared times negative t. And then we're going to get t times negative t, which is negative t squared. So there's a whole bunch of eliminating that happens. So we need to account for that first. So again, it was the 1 and the t. The t is going to get eliminated. The t squared is going to get eliminated. And as we go through, basically everything is going to get eliminated except for the t to the 7th. Because the t to the 7th, we're going to have 1 times t is t to the 7th. Oh, sorry, it isn't. T to the 7th will get eliminated. Because we have 1 times t to the 7th is t to the 7th, and then t to the 6th times negative t is also negative t to the 7th. But instead, the one thing that we hold on to at the very end is going to be t to the 7th times negative t is negative t to the 8th. So we have negative t to the 8th that will not get eliminated. And then we obviously have 1 times 1 that will not get eliminated. So it should be 1 minus t to the 8th, or choice B here. And yeah, you could plug this into Desmos and see which matches up, but that's a lot of numbers to be typing. So if you see the shortcut, it's definitely better. All right, upper right-hand corner here, we've got a couple different rules going on. Basically, we can't really do the division rule unless we have the same base. So let's turn these into fractional exponents. So we have the same base of x. The square root of x to the 7th is the same as x to the 7 over 2. Again, just following that rule that the power is the numerator and that the invisible 2 here is the denominator. The 4th root of x to the 3rd would be the same as x to the 3 over 4. And then now, if we're dividing, we're subtracting the fractions. So we would have 7 over 2 minus 3 over 4. We could use Desmos for this, but it's a pretty easy conversion from 7 over 2 to 14 over 4. 14 minus 3 is 11 over 4. And then it was x to the a over b. So if x to the 11 over 4 is x to the a over b, then a over b is 11 over 4. So our answer for this one is just 11 over 4. No Desmos really needed for that. All right, this next one, don't feel bad if you used Desmos, but let's just go over the way to do it without using Desmos real quick. Again, we want to have the same base of 60m because that's going to be the base that we end up with. So we can use the fractional exponent rule again. So all of this would be the same as 60m to the 1/4. And then this is times 60m to the 1/8 to the 3rd. Distribute that 3. And sorry, I should specify, this is not 60m to the 1/8. This is 60m to the 1/8. So that is our base, 60m, because we're not going to distribute the 3 to the 60. So instead, it would be 3 times 1/8 is 3/8. So now it's 60m to the 3/8. And now, since we are multiplying the same bases, we can add those fractions together. Again, I don't need to use Desmos because 1 over 4 very easily goes into 2 over 8. So now 2 over 8 plus 3 over 8 is 5 over 8. So we have 60m to the 5 over 8. And this is supposed to be 40x, right? So basically 5 over 8 equals 40x. And now I'm going to go ahead and just jump into Desmos to finish this. 40, we'll use the tilde route. 40a tilde 5 over 8. A is going to equal this number. If I put a here, I can turn it into a fraction. It's 1 over 64. So our answer here is 1 over 64. All right, bottom right corner, this one looks kind of like a nightmare. But if we take a second to digest what's going on with it, it's not that crazy. Because essentially it's asking us the value of a plus b. So we need to figure out what our base is when everything is multiplied together and what our exponent is. And again, the fractional exponent is going to help here. Our 7 is just a 7, so that's going to hang out. But then remember, all of this stuff we can say is being raised to the 1 over 12, right? So 25 to the 6 instead would be 25 to the 6 over 12, or 25 to the 1/2, or the square root of 25. So that's just 5. X to the 48 over 12. Well, what's 48 over 12? It's 4. So this is really just x to the 4th. And you know what? Let's actually keep our whole numbers and our x numbers separate. So we know so far down here we have x to the 4th. Do the same thing with this guy. 9 to the 7 over 7, because remember, we're turning this into a fractional exponent, is literally just 9 to the 1st, so that's just still 9. And then x to the 56 over 7, 56 over 7 is 8, so that's times x to the 8th. So this ends up actually being really straightforward. Remember, we're going to multiply our bases, which means we add our exponents. So this is x to the 12th. And then here, 7 times 5 times 9. We can throw that into Desmos real quick if we don't know. And that's going to be 315. So when we put those together, we end up with 315x to the 12th, meaning that A is 315, B is 12. 315 plus 12 is going to be 327. So our answer is 327 for that one. And we could actually do something with Desmos here. Like I did it all by hand, but as long as we recognize that we're going to be using the fractional exponent anyway, we could separate those actual numbers like I was saying. So we could say like A is going to be tilde to 7, because that's a whole number. And then we just put in our straight up roots. So remember, nth root to get our root, it was the 12th root of 25 to the 6th times the 7th root of 9 to the 7th. So that gives us our 315 that we're looking for. And then we do the same thing with our x's. B is going to be tilde to all the x's. And here we want to kind of ignore the x's because it's going to be the exponent, right? So again, we'd still have to remember that fractional exponent rule, where basically it's going to be that 48 over 12 that we talked about, plus that 56 over 7 that we talked about. And then from here, we just type A plus B and we get our answer, 327. So there's one other route that you could use with Desmos.